Sean? Is it these trade tensions? Is it what the Fed said? Or is it what the ECB said last week that's really driving the action in the Forex markets right now?
Yeah, well, I think right now is probably a bit more on the trade side. But last week, no doubt about it, it was a massive week for central bank decisions. So it was a huge one for the euro. The ECB guidance obviously undermining the euro. That's probably going to persist for some time. But with a bit of a cushion on the euro from strong current account surpluses. And for the US dollar, I think the reverberations of the Fed meeting are continuing. So for Asian currencies, that's difficult because the Fed really did set out a pretty upbeat plan in terms of its view on the economy and what it plans to do on rates. So I think that that's still having an impact on the market. So we did have a pretty poor session for Asian currencies on Monday, also the Aussie dollar too. So the pressure from higher rates combining with the US-China trade measures are undermining the regional currencies.
Yeah, we'll get to the Aussie in a moment, but let's stick with the euro first, because it appears as though there are growing tensions between the coalition in Germany. That's had some impact on the euro, because the ECB also saying that it's going to start a wind back in its stimulus program towards the end of the year, despite all of these issues in Europe. How realistic do you think it is that the ECB can do that, and how much concern is this showdown that we are seeing between Angela Merkel and some of her conservative counterparts for you?
I think it's a growing concern. Certainly over the past couple of days, it has deepened. The tensions between Merkel CDU and the Bavarian CSU have become great, very to the point of potential talk of a split of maybe Merkel not serving out her term. Obviously, she hasn't been back in for very long, so it took a long time to reach an agreement. But with Merkel needing to keep the Social Democrats on side, it is a very tough issue. So I think the euro will come under a bit more pressure into the EU Leaders Summit at the end of the month. Immigration will, of course, be top of the agenda there. So at the moment, the euro's had that big fall after the ECB meeting and sort of stabilised. I do think the ECB is probably on track to wind up quantitative easing by the end of the year, so long as there is a little bit more movement in inflation in the right direction. And their commitment on interest rates, that they'll keep rates steady till, as they say, through the summer of 2019. It'll take a lot for them to change that. So I think that's pretty much a given for the time being. But political risks are certainly rising for the euro.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.